Hi, this is JR. I was noticing how rare it is, how valuable it is for someone to practice responsibility. And this may seem a little bit odd that I would say that, but I will explain what I mean by responsibility, and you may find that it is in fact extremely rare, at least in the way that I mean it. That responsibility is extremely rare, but available to anyone. And given that it's so rare, it's that much more distinctively valuable when there's not much of it going around, not much responsibility being practiced. For someone to practice responsibility can be immensely beneficial. So the responsible investors benefit fully from change. And the idea here is that being responsible is what gives them access to fully benefiting. Changes happen all the time. There's lots and lots of changes. Some people benefit a little, some people don't benefit at all, or even face detriment because of a certain change. And then some people benefit fully, which really is an arbitrary saying, but benefit distinctively from any particular change. So in regard to investing, why settle for average risks and average rewards? In regard to your finances even, it doesn't have to be investing. In regard to your finances, why settle for average results, average risks, average rewards? Avoid recognizable risks and multiply your benefits. Now, recognizable risks is another one of those things like fully benefit. What is a recognizable risk? Well, recognizable. If it's possible to be recognized, then it's a recognizable risk. And those same recognizable risks are also recognizable opportunities. So this is where the responsibility issue comes in. If you want to be responsible for your results, then a change that is recognizable, that is probable, that is even inevitable, that change can occur as a risk or as an opportunity, or maybe some of each. For those who are responsible, a change will seem, in advance, because they're looking for such things, a change will seem to be an opportunity, something that they're looking forward to, something that they're about to benefit from fully, whatever that means, however much benefit that may be. So many changes surprise most investors, some quite unpleasantly. Some people and some changes are quite unpleasant in their surprise as to the results that people experience. So consider the following major changes of recent years. U.S. real estate prices started historic declines. Then gasoline prices and other commodity prices surged, with U.S. stock prices plunging over 50% in under 18 months. That's overall. Obviously, some industries and some sectors did a lot worse than that. Some did better. The financial sector amongst the worst performers. So did you know about these changes before they happened? Real estate prices shifting, gas and other commodities prices shifting, and stock prices shifting. Did you know about these changes before they happened? How much did you benefit from those changes? Real estate weakening, commodity surging, and stocks plunging. How much did you benefit, or did you benefit at all? Did you adjust your finances to fully benefit from those changes? How many forecasters do you know who alerted investors to the risks and opportunities of those changes far in advance of those changes coming to the attention of mainstream investors? Would you like to meet one? Maybe you already have. I am one such person. So how much was your budget affected by any of these changes? The rise in gas and other commodities prices, the decline in real estate prices, the sudden decline in stock prices. Were you positioned to benefit from these changes, or were you positioned for losses? In other words, what results did you get? It was based on whatever positions you had, of course. Did you organize your finances to benefit fully from those changes? What about the next changes that are coming? Because some changes are coming. You might not know what they are yet. You might not have noticed. But some changes are coming. They might be changes that produce benefits with regard to whatever your current exposures and investments and positions might be. They might be changes that would produce losses for your current positions. I suggest that a responsible investor is less interested in their own current positions than on the changes that are about to happen. That may be a really radical idea, but what if somebody were more interested in the changes that were about to happen, that were already noticeable, that were already recognizable, even though much of the mainstream might not have recognized them yet? What if someone was interested and responsible in regard to noticing in advance what changes are emerging and developing and beginning? More interested in the changes in the future and in the immediate present, like what's actually shifting right now and has been just recently. More interested in that than in the past and the positions they previously had or currently still have. Or at least equally interested. Wouldn't that be a whole different realm of, perspective, a whole different kind of focus to bring? I suggest again that such a focus brings distinctively more beneficial results, incredibly beneficial results relative to people who are focused on what their current investments are and just what are their current investments doing, and not so much what changes are emerging in the whole world of finances and the whole world of investments and the whole world of economy and politics and humanity. The whole world. So what about the next changes that are coming? How are you positioned for those? Do you even know? Who's responsible for the results of the investments you choose? Do you consider the mass media to be responsible for your results? Or particular governments and politicians to be responsible for your results? Or the employees of the company whose stocks you may choose to buy? In other words, that the companies you may choose to own, to be a part owner of. Are those employees, like your employees, are your employees responsible for your results? More responsible than you? Are those politicians and regulators and mass media employees, are those folks more responsible than you for your results? Because I suggest they're probably not as attentive as you would be to your results, your personal choices, your personal finances. The people who could be most, in my case, the person who would be most attentive to my own interests would be who? Me? Or some politician, say the chair of some central bank, or the head of the UN, or the head of the state I live in, or the head of the city I live in, the mayor or whatever, or the employees of a company in which I've purchased stock. Who's really responsible for the results I get? Oh, how about the mass media, the people I choose to, watch on television or listen to on radio and so forth? Are those people the ones that are really responsible? Now, I did choose to watch them and listen to them, didn't I? So, who's responsible? Remember, if you buy the stock of a company, then you are the owner of that company. A lot of people, basically what I call dump money. They dump money into mutual funds. They don't even know what companies are owned within those mutual funds. So they're owners of those companies, and they act surprised, or they are surprised, in fact, when the results of those companies, business is reported by the media. They know nothing about the companies. They don't even know the names of the companies in which they've invested. They don't know anything about the names. They don't know those businesses. They don't know those industries. They don't know much about economy, and they're just, putting money in something. They're not even really sure what when they buy into a mutual fund. They don't really know. So if you buy stock of a company, then you're owner of that company. You're a part owner. So are you responsible for the results of the actions of your employees? How about when you employ politicians and governments to serve your interests? Are you responsible for their activities, for the results they produce? Are you responsible for your reliance on those people as your agents? If you follow the advice of a licensed, financial professional, and that advice is very expensive to you because it results in you not knowing, your focus is elsewhere than on knowing in advance that the real estate markets were destabilizing, or they didn't notice, they weren't really paying any attention to the future of commodities prices, gasoline, oil, and so on, or they weren't paying really any attention to the future of stock markets. They didn't have any real interest in that. They might earn a little commission, like when you go to a realtor and you purchase a home from a realtor. The realtor's job isn't, they're not your partner. They just have a commission from the transaction. If you spend a lot of money on the transaction, that's good for them. It doesn't matter really to them inherently what results you get beyond you actually entering that investment. They just get a commission from your purchase, and they're done. So is your real estate agent responsible for the fact that you invested in real estate that lost value? If that was your experience, is the real estate agent responsible for that? Is the politician responsible if they didn't do a very good job for you on your behalf? Are they your agent? Or your employee? Are those people responsible? If they are responsible, they're responsible because you have created a context in which they are either responsible or you no longer utilize their services. They're no longer your employees. They're no longer your agents. So if you don't have the authority and influence and the willpower to to choose only agents who are reliable and responsible, then you're going to get a whole different realm of results than folks who accept personal responsibility, hire and rely on only people who are really responsible. Results are vastly different for folks who are relying on centralized, distant, remote, anonymous service providers, employees, agents. You don't know the companies in the mutual funds you buy. If you buy mutual funds, you probably don't know the names of the companies in those funds. You don't know the employees. You know nothing about the bureaucracies involved with them. You just blindly trust, perhaps. Well, there are consequences for that kind of that degree of responsibility, which I would say is an extremely low degree. You could even say that historically what happens is those who are responsible accumulate wealth from those who are less responsible. That's the natural tendency of investment markets. Those who are more responsible accumulate wealth because they're prudently investing, noticing the changes that are emerging early, and then they receive the benefit of the less responsible orientation of others. So maybe you've not fully recognized your responsibility for the results of your choices, whether that's in regard to investments or anything else, or finances or anything else. Maybe you've not even admitted that you were responsible for your results. Maybe you never will, but you could now. Changes are coming. Some people will notice them earlier than most people. With any particular change, some people will notice them more than others. Of course, some people will benefit more than others from any change. So you can partner with someone who consistently notices change early. Or you can talk as if other people should have been more responsible for you and your results, like those politicians, those governments, those regulators, those real estate agents, those employees for that company that you own. I don't remember the name of it, but you know the one. Those people should have been more responsible for me. That's how some people are going to speak. That's how some people have been speaking. You might recognize this. So some people will benefit fully from changing economic patterns of human activity worldwide. Some will not benefit fully. In fact, most will not. Some people will protect their finances from increasingly aggressive governments and other claimants. Some will not. Some people will be responsible investors and benefit fully from emerging changes. Some will not. Responsible investors benefit fully from change. But responsible investors do not rely on politicians to promote their interests better than they could themselves. Responsible investors do not rely on regulators to comprehensively monitor industries and companies. Responsible investors are responsible for their own choices and doing research or getting research that's really accurate and really valuable. Not somebody else's ranking system that they know nothing about. That's not a good sign. If you don't understand the ranking systems for credit ratings of corporate bonds, then what good are those? Is that ranking system for you? If you don't understand it, then what's the difference between a B and an A? If you don't know, then why make a comment on the fact that you get, different results from what you expected? On what basis do you expect results if you don't understand the system? So be real considerate of how much people presume as distinct from how much people behave responsibly. Responsibility is tremendously rare, and it's extremely valuable because of its tremendous rarity. So responsible investors also do not rely on mass media to report all relevant information and analysis. Commercial mass media, your regular magazines, newspapers, TV shows, and so on. Responsible investors do not presumptively invest in generic mutual funds, again, where they don't even know the names of the companies or industries, And responsible investors do not blindly speculate and finance real estate. They might have done some of these things in the past, but a responsible investor would not be so presumptive, be so blind in their speculation. And they do not complain when their high-class lottery tickets turn out to be worthless. What do I mean by high-class lottery tickets? Financial contracts, negotiable instruments. Like what? Like second mortgages. Like real estate investments. Like stock market ownership. What if those are high-class lottery tickets? What if there is tremendous risk in a lot of financial instruments, but most investors don't understand them, don't recognize them, and don't partner with people who do understand them? You're responsible for who you partner with, too, and the results that they get, whether that's myself or anyone else. When you go, to use a bank, which is very likely that you might do, you're responsible for the results you get. Now, are other people also involved? Of course. If you own a company, your employees are involved, but you as the owner, or I as the owner, would be responsible for hiring, firing, managing, and having all these people produce the results they produce. I would be responsible. That is a perspective that I can take when I go see a real estate agent. When I go to the bank, I don't have to rely on the FDIC or the SEC to monitor, to establish regulations and monitor them, and then secure my interests on my behalf. I don't rely on anyone else to secure my interests better than me, except in particular situations, like if I need an auto repair mechanic, then I'm going to rely on someone else's expertise, right? But I'm still responsible for my choice of auto repair mechanic and the results that I get from them. If I'm not satisfied with the results I get, it's my responsibility to say so and to produce new results. So, thank you for your interest. Responsible investors fully benefit from change. If you're open to and committed to being one of those who fully benefit from change, congratulations. And I look forward perhaps to partnering with you in that regard to fully benefit from change with you. Contact me if you're interested. Thank you.